You decide who you are being and what you give power to. This is so important because there are so many global events going on right now that can make us feel disempowering. And we all have our personal energy and we have a collective field that we can tune into, right? And sometimes when so many, let's say, devastating, difficult, big things are happening in the world, it's very easy to get mixed up and pulled into the collective energy, which is also made up of all of us, all the media channels, which create a lot of negative spirals. And let's not go too deep into that. That's not really what I want to talk about. But what I want to talk about is learning to pull your energy back into your body and learn to differentiate, is this mine or not? You know, even if you're not watching the news, if you're not identified every day with social media and media at large, you may still, if you're a sensitive being, feel collective energy that may be tense, tensity in the air, a tense feeling, maybe certain emotions of sadness or anger or, I don't like to just speak about those feelings, but at the moment, the last weeks, months, the whole year, it's been quite a melting pot of heavy emotions, and we often identify with the world at large. And I'm not saying that it's not important what's going on, but we are in a world in duality, and just like the duality of, being a human and being a spirit, it is also a duality between the macro collective world and your microcosm, your own world. And it's okay to be with one foot in each. And at the same time, it's important to learn to differentiate, energetically, but also mentally and emotionally. What do I want to give space to and what do I not want to give space to? And if I want to give space to something, how far am I willing to give that space to? And when do I need to draw a boundary with myself, with what I'm giving attention to, with the media that I'm allowing myself to watch or read or listen to? And I'm not speaking about a specific thing here, I'm speaking about general. So, it can feel really disempowering when we look at the world at large and see everything that's going on and identify with it. Just like it can feel disempowering when we constantly identify with the past and fear the future. So that doesn't mean that you shouldn't look to the past or that you shouldn't feel your feelings. It's important to recognize and be the observer of your feelings rather than to be always identified with the feeling. And many of us haven't even learned what it means and how it feels like to take a step back mentally, energetically, emotionally, and actually get curious and be the observer of, wait, what am I feeling? And that is something that you can learn, especially when you're meditating, especially when you're, developing your emotional intelligence and your consciousness. So when you energetically or emotionally take a step back, that feels like you're kind of zooming out of how you're feeling and you're changing perspective, and you're suddenly not as identified with I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm anxious, I'm depressed. You're noticing, oh, okay, I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling angry, or I'm feeling depressed. A part of me feels that, but surely it isn't the whole me. So let me notice what is going on. Because if you see yourself like spirit first, and you're embodied in this human experience, that's the perspective I want to give you today, then you can feel that, okay, as a human right now, I'm feeling, or part of me is feeling sad or angry or whatever it is that you feel. And what about if you get curious about it? Rather than immediately falling into the feeling. And I know that's hard. I'm not judging you at all. I know the process of, having been identified completely and then noticing, whoa, I can step out of it and actually observe the feeling. Yeah. And that's where the duality lies. Okay. You understand that on one hand, we're human and we feel our feelings and they're part of our human experience. Every color of the rainbow of the spectrum of our emotions are normal for our human experience to experience. But we always act like, oh my God, I'm sad, oh my God. And I'm not saying that to diminish anybody's feelings. God knows I would never do that. And all our feelings are valid. All your feelings are valid always. All your thoughts are valid. All your worries and fears and insecurities, it's all valid. But the question is it true? And is this the narrative that I want to tell myself? Or is it empowering me? Or could I alchemize the feeling, the wound, the story into something that feels more powerful, empowering from a heart-centered space? You know what I mean? Because there is definitely a difference there. And I know that it can feel comfortable to be angry and stay in the anger. I know it can feel comfortable to be sad and stay in the sadness or the depression. But what does it do for you? And I mean this as a serious question. Ask yourself, where is the benefit for me to stay in that feeling? And I'm not saying like today, you lost somebody or something bad happened and you're not allowed to be feeling the way you feel. Absolutely not. You're absolutely allowed to feel the way you feel. Okay? But do it consciously. Notice, oh man, there's so much sadness here, as an example. Yeah, it could be frustration, anger, whatever. Oh my God, there's so much sadness here. Okay, let me take space and allow that sadness to be here. Okay? And maybe for the day you just want to take a walk or just want to know that it's there, not do anything with it. Or maybe you want to give it some more space and allow yourself to go into meditation or go into connecting to the feeling and let it float through you. Maybe take some deep breaths in through the nose or through the mouth, slowly. Locate the feeling in your body, wherever it is, maybe in your heart, maybe in your belly, maybe wherever. And just breathe into that place in your body. And again, sometimes you may not be able to locate it in your body. Sometimes you may not even be able to name the feeling. And that's all good. That's a journey. Emotional intelligence is a journey. And we think we have it all figured out, but it takes time because we didn't learn it. We didn't learn to regulate our emotions. We didn't learn how to accept our emotions without making bad emotions bad. Yeah, negative emotions bad. There's nothing bad about negative emotions. But like I said in the other video the other day, when we get stuck in the emotion, does it serve us? So it's okay to notice, I've been angry for the past week. But then also see if you can step out of the identification and listen to the story you're telling yourself. And if that story is useful or true even, do you need to be so identified with it? Or can it be something, whoa, that's triggering me? Ooh, I'm curious. Why is it triggering me so much? What is my personal wound with that, if it's a global topic, for example? Because for me, I just finished an online breathwork session, a group session. It was really powerful because we all came together to breathe out whatever was lingering in your body, mind, and spirit. Yeah. And so we did some EFT tapping first. If you don't know what that is, that's basically like acupuncture without the needles, and you use your fingers as acupressure to tap along the meridian points of your body to release held mental and emotional blocks. Then we went into the breathwork session where we had an extended time of breathing. And when you breathe like that for an extended amount of time, you pass your prefrontal cortex, which is our logical mind, and it's kind of like it gets quieted down and you get access to the part of your brain, your limbic brain, where all your emotions and held experiences, memories are stored, and that can lead to an emotional release. And an emotional release can lead to a realization. Every time we feel through a feeling, you get on the other side a realization. Now, often, what is the difference between feeling sad and feelings through sadness? It's basically when you're feeling sad, you're identified with sadness. You tell yourself I'm sad, and you are being stuck in the sadness, but you're not moving the energy. You're not doing anything with it. And again, obviously, that's no judgment. I'm just explaining you what's happening. When you are actively working with your sadness, like I said earlier, you may sit yourself down in meditation and try to understand where do I feel the sadness in my body, then send some breaths into that place and open up to the sadness. Yeah, we never want to pass by an emotion. We never want to reject an emotion. We never want to dismiss or ignore an emotion. We want to open up to the emotion. I always see my emotions as little children. And when I would reject a little child, when I would tell a little child to shut up, or if I would ignore a little child, I would feel horrible. And our emotions are just as innocent as little children. That's how I see it, at least. So when I see that there's anger, sadness, whatever inside of me, I take the time to listen to that message, because emotion is energy in motion. That means there is a message. Your emotions are messengers that tell you about a certain state, a certain wound, a certain belief, and a certain need that may or may not be met, okay? And by ignoring your emotions or just sitting in your emotions, you're not giving your emotions attention, yeah? So in order to get the realization, get the message of the emotion, it's important to give that emotion space in whatever way feels accessible. And when you make that effort to show up for yourself, because like I said in the video yesterday, there is work that is something that doesn't serve us or anybody. And I'm not saying that from an egocentrical serve us point, but from a heart-centered, a desire, a joy, an enrichment kind of way. Yeah, when you're going to a job that you despise, that may give you the money you need for your rent, but that may be the only thing. And then there's another kind of work, which is work that helps you liberate parts of yourself, integrate parts of yourself that you may have suppressed in order to stay safe. You may have ignored because they feel scary or too powerful or vulnerable or whatever. Yeah, there's a million reasons why we would hold our emotions back, suppress them, or ignore them. And that's okay. Just start by acknowledging that, oh, I have some emotions that I am not listening to and giving space to. Fine, this is a good start, period. Take a deep breath and you're already a step further. Whew, okay. And then the next step is, all right, do I dare to face the message this emotion has for me? And that usually works through the body. So that means by, like I already explained to you, sitting with it, moving it through movement, but doing it consciously. And what means consciously? With awareness, with like, maybe you don't need to go for a run, but maybe it helps you when you're angry. Yeah, but when we don't want to run away from an emotion, we don't want to do it to numb or ignore. We want to do it to open up to it, to bring it to the surface, to release it. Yeah, so sometimes that means slow movements are supportive rather than fast movements. Sometimes that means slow, deep breaths are useful rather than fast, quick breaths for your biohacking, No judgment. So we want to open up to it. That's how we bring up the emotion. And when you feel like something is boiling up and you're getting emotional, usually people want to close their mouth and swallow it back down. That's not what we want to do. Usually people do it because they fear, oh my God, what's going to happen when the emotion comes up? You're just going to feel something. You're just going to feel maybe a little bit of pain, maybe a little bit of sadness or anger or whatever. And important is what you do with what you feel. It's an important topic around regulating emotions. So that means we don't want to harm other people. We don't want to harm ourselves. So what is the safest way to feel sadness? Maybe either having somebody with you while you're doing this practice or doing the movement. Maybe you want to work with somebody one-on-one. Or maybe when you're angry, you want to punch into a pillow, not into a wall or into another person. Maybe if you're angry, you want to do some breath work and scream into a pillow or dance like crazy, There's so many ways of healthy release. And on the other side of that relief, when you feel like, okay, now I felt this through, now I allowed myself to feel the wave to the end, and that may take one time, that may take several times. Yeah, it's just something that you need to learn to feel within you, where I'm like, okay, whoa, I felt it through, I let myself cry it out. Now I feel lighter. Now I feel, now I'm realizing. But it's really about staying focused with the feeling, not here, but in the body, and letting yourself, like a wave from the ocean, let the wave go all the way to the beach until it dries up itself. Yeah, because often we try to, okay, I cried enough now. Okay, I should calm down now. Okay, I shouldn't be too loud when I'm crying and stuff. So a lot of people stop themselves, but that's not supportive. That's not helpful at all. If you don't feel comfortable with having that emotional experience, by yourself, work with a practitioner that you trust or with a therapist. Or if you don't feel comfortable doing that with others around you, then make sure you have the apartment or the room to yourself, okay? Maybe tell others, hey, I'm gonna need this room for an hour. Is that okay? Please don't come in. It feels really intimate for me right now. Yeah, just about communicating. And that's really important to feel it through. And again, sometimes you may need to do it once or twice or several times, but it's a felt sense. It's something you will learn over time, how much you need to do that. It's really also about letting that circumstance or that moment empower you and not let it drag you down. You have so much power inside of you, and let that fuel your mission. Let that fuel your conviction. Let that fuel your dedication and devotion to whatever it is that you feel called to do and to be. Don't let any voices in the outside world, any circumstances in the world drag you down. And that's why I said there's a collective energy and there's a personal energy. And yes, we can say, whoa, what's going on in the world is really hard. And this is, whoa. But you also get to draw your boundary and decide, all right, on this day and on those days, I'm not going to identify too much with the world, because what is it going to help the world if I'm one more angry person? If I'm one more sad and depressed person? How am I going to support the world or my community or my family or myself? By, giving all my energy and power away to the collective narratives. You know what I mean? Care and cultivate your own energy. because you will need it. If you are somebody who wants to make a contribution in the world, if you have any calling, small or big, maybe it's just to have an amazing family and take really good care of your children. Maybe it is to heal people, or to be a plant-based chef and, revolutionize food or whatever. You cannot make this the center of your world, because it will drag you down. And maybe you're feeling this right now. Maybe you don't feel alive, fully alive. And it is often because we feel defeated by the world. But we are the world. So we are defeating ourselves. And if you want to give into that, that's okay. I accept that. But I will never do that. I will always make those moments make me stronger. What is the worst thing that could happen by allowing yourself to just break free and allow yourself to be yourself and have fun? Because there's so many people out there who feel bad about enjoying their life. And you don't need to ever feel bad about enjoying your life. Care about people. Make a positive, meaningful contribution to the world. But don't feel bad about your happiness. You deserve it, and the world needs more happy people who are conscious and caring and make a positive impact in the world. So take a deep breath, shine a light. You are the light. Don't let anybody turn off your light. It's really not their choice, okay? And I think sometimes when we feel defeated, it's the message or the task for ourselves to learn that it doesn't matter what other people say about you. And that the people who need to hear your message or need to receive your product or your support or your initiative or your food or your dance or whatever, that they will receive it only if you do it with groundedness. And sometimes we need to go through a phase of defeat just to realize, wait a minute. Why would I let other people decide over my destiny? Why would I give up? What do I want? What feels good to me from the heart? What am I here for? Remember your mission. Remember who you are. Remember what you came for. And if you consider the fact that you're a soul in a human body, a soul is infinite. A soul can basically not die. So why would a soul be afraid? A soul would always follow their mission, their contribution. It's about really accepting who you are. And when you're deepening into who you are, it comes with initiations through fire, through wind, through water, through earth. And the defeat moments, they can be very big breakthroughs if you let them be. If you allow yourself to deepen, revisit what you were afraid of, revisit if you want to stay in that feeling or if you want to actually alchemize it into something powerful, maybe to inspire others or your own journey, whatever it is. I don't know. You need to know. You need to figure it out. Okay, so that's my message for today. Soft warrior, lion heart, you've got this, okay? Share this video with anybody who needs to hear it. You already know the drill. If you haven't yet, subscribe. And I see you tomorrow.